every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As it was during King's March for Freedom, it is obvious still today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check. A check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot in Pittsburgh to remind America of the urgency of now. This is not the time to engage in the luxury of posting bumper stickers on Facebook or smoking from the meth and crack pipes in the dens of iniquity, or even the bowls of legalized recreational marijuana of Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and now Alaska. Don't get me wrong, I can't condemn the legalization of marijuana, in that one day it may prove in making our nation more harmonious. Nevertheless, as it was with King in 1963, so it is with us in 2015. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all God's children. It would be hypocritical for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. These past few years of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of justice and equality. 2015 is not an end, but a beginning. And those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content with looting and protest will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will neither be rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights particularly as far as justice is concerned. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm thresholds which lead into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for justice by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. The recent affairs, as we have all witnessed in the Trayvon Martin murder and the George Zimmerman case, Michael Brown's murder and Darren Wilson, a predominantly white Congress's blatant disrespect for our first black president, and those victimized at the hand of white police brutality must not lead us to distrust all white people. For our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up in our destiny, and their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot march alone. And as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking myself and the devotees of justice and civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as the murderers of Trayvon Martin and Eric Gardner are not indicted for their heinous crimes against humanity. We cannot be satisfied as long as Michael Brown's blood cries out from a shallow grave and another black mother cries out for her dead son. We cannot be satisfied knowing that Ayanna Stanley Jones's murderer got off scot-free, or knowing that police shot down 12-year-old Tamir Rice like he was a mass murderer, and then handcuffed his sister after she tried to help. Akai Gurley was shot down by police for walking into a stairwell while black. Jessica Hernandez was shot by police whose protocol was to avoid shooting in cars. Yvette Smith was shot by police for opening the door to her home while black. Marissa Alexander was released from prison but still not actually free. We cannot be satisfied with the knowledge that cops continue to execute people with mental health conditions. Christina Conyard, Tanisha Anderson. George Zimmerman continues to cause harm and get away with it and flaunt it in everyone's face. No, we are not satisfied. the Black Lives Matter movement continue to be the revolutionary moment of this generation. However, we are not satisfied when the lived experience of blacks are undermined by countermeasures stating that all lives matter. We are not satisfied. We are not satisfied while the world believes that the only true representative for blacks in America is Al Sharpton. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity because of the decision to wear a hoodie on a cold autumn morn labels them as looking suspicious. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Chicago cannot feel safe and a Negro in New York believes that he has nothing for which to give a damn. No, we are not satisfied. And we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. My dream today is not anti-cop, but rather pro-justice. I am not unmindful that some of you